We've got a long ways. That's what you guys wanted. But, when we were covering the Nicola bully case, and we all were like, how could she have possibly drowned in 2 feet of water? Still to this day, most of us are like, this doesn't make sense. So, in investigating or researching or whatever you want to call it, any other deaths with the Moscow, Idaho 4, Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, God rest their souls, you will find out there have been others. Oh, yes. So, May 1st of 2022. So there was Hannah in February. Then comes May. We have Hudson Lindow, who allegedly, there's no foul play. There's nothing to see here. He drowned over here in the ditch in the middle of the summer when you see it. You're going to have to do your own research and form your own opinion. But when you see this little ditch, you're like, there's no way in hell a kid drowned right there. I don't care how young they are. I mean, there's no way, in my opinion. But that's what I want to talk about is all these connected type of deaths to the University of the college students. And welcome to our beautiful Starlight members true crime chat here at 1111. It's something we do before we get into the readings, and we will be doing a reading on Hudson Lindow because I just can't. Maybe, I mean, like when I did Hannah Clear's reading, I was shocked at the reading I got. I was not even expecting that. So maybe this reading will shock me. But I got questions. I got a lot of questions. 2013, I believe it was 2013. Another student drowned in the same tiny little creek. Again, right by the frat. And keep in mind, before I leave the subject here, Hudson Lindow was Sigma Chi. Now, in 2008, not only did a boy drown, a freshman, 19-year-old, in that same Paradise Creek, which is just a little runoff from a dirt road, it looks like, but whatever. This kid dies. The very next morning, a, another student is found dead in his own bed, allegedly who shot himself. What? Then I go back even further. I'm like, what is this? We haven't had this happen since blah, blah, blah. I look into it. Now, I can't guarantee that this is the same Sigma Chi, but I believe it is. But do your own research. 2008, this young man happened to be an African American, joined the frat, who wound up dead, allegedly hung himself in some part of the facility. The parents, the mother they were held away from the body for like 3 weeks. And then she decided, because she was so super suspicious that her son hung himself, when she was allowed to view the body, she took photographs, and there were no ligature marks around his neck, but he had brain matter coming out the side of his ear, and he had cracks or fractures in the skull area, contusions and so forth. So I'm like, what the hell? So I want to talk about it today. Hi, Wildfire and Robin Davis Ducksworth. Hello. Virgo 22. Zach Woolley. Hello. All I'm glad I can make it to this one. Well, we're glad to have you as a starlight. Let's see who else. Hot Mess Equines. Something about what happened to Hudson never sat right with me. But I feel the unalivings are connected to what Maddie told Adam. And I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me, she says. In the gentleman that was African American in 2008, guess who identified the body? Not the parents, the frat brothers. I'm not making this up. Google 2008 hanging, and I'd have to get my research together and be like, here it is. Just do your own research. I assure you, it's out there for now till it's scrubbed clean. But right now, it's out there. Hi, Natural Healing. Yeah, okay. I didn't even finish reading it because I was like set off, right? Triggered. Linda Sue says, don't next of kin have to ID the body? How could they keep him away for 3 weeks? This is why I'm bringing it out. And I don't think it's another frat, y'all. Do your research. I could be wrong. But if I was understanding it correctly, it was the same frat. But I could be wrong. So do your own research. Let us know if it's the same frat. I'm about ready to Google it. Just wait. We're going to find out now. Let's see. How do I do my history? I've never been one to Google my own history before. Okay, I don't know if I did it on here or on my phone. So, 2008, Idaho, U of I, death hanging. Moscow police. Here we go. This is the stuff I do on my own time. So this is actually a little news program that's very local to them. It says, police indicate Idaho student hanged himself, wasn't lynched. He hung himself. He wasn't lynched. And they have to qualify that. What? Why do they need to qualify that he hung himself? Oh my God. Okay. Moscow police identified Wednesday the dark-skinned man found hanging in the University of Idaho Arboretum with his hands bound behind his back. I'm sorry I'm screaming. I am so mad and I'm so sick of the cover-ups, and this is going to come out, and I assure you I'm not leaving this case. I don't care if I have to read tarot cards or if I have to read the news to you guys until we see that we have a corrupt system covering up the real murders of these victims. Listen to this shit. Moscow police identified Wednesday the dark-skinned man found hanging. Hold on, I gotta click off an ad that just popped up. With his hands bound behind his back as an Iranian student at the school. Okay, I thought it was African American, forgive me. And investigators indicated the death may have been suicide. A junior studying architect was found hanging from a tree in a heavily wooded area of the Moscow campus late Tuesday morning. Lieutenant Jake Kirschnick said investigators working through the night learned that Havan had discussed suicide with friends and had been somewhat despondent recently over his grades and other personal problems. Investigators recover a note from his room in which he gave his possessions to various friends. This isn't even the same. Oh, it is the same one. Listen to this. Until Wednesday morning, Ek Haven had been identified by Moscow Police Chief Dave Cameron only as a young black man. So that's where I got confused. I'm just saying, how many people are going to have taken their own life, right? His hands are bound behind his back. I'm sorry. I just can't. I just can't accept that that is the way we're supposed to see it. Jersey gal, who in their right mind would ever send their kids to this sketchy college? Right? Oh, Hot Messy Queenies is cleaning the stalls, she says. Kissing ponies, cleaning stalls, and listening. What now? Okay, Robin Davis Duckworth. They probably moved and stayed and grew and Delphi issue in the move to the area too. I'm not sure what that meant. Patricia Parker, hello, all raining and cold here. Stay safe and warm. Oh, here's what would have made it more sense. So Robin Duckworth says, growing up, I remember that the Northwest area had a lot of white supremacist militants, and Idaho was included. But the news made out those groups moved to Michigan and Wisconsin area, probably a cover-up. Well, I'll tell you, we do have them in Wisconsin, and they're in the court system. Look at Stephen Avery. And I'm not talking about just white supremacy. It's like they have a problem with certain things. Now, I'm going to bring up something, and I am not judging this. I'm just saying. Hudson, I pick up intuitively a very lighthearted, loving, feminine energy. In that, if, and it doesn't, I'm not judging, if we have a more same-sex type relationship within their covet, right? They're frat, and it gets discovered. No. That's a shh. That is, nobody can know. So I almost wonder, I have a big question. I don't almost wonder, I do. If they don't test the water in the lungs or however at the autopsy because they're so ready to cover this up, how do we know that Hudson wasn't waterboarded to death by the frat to silence a secret? I want to know what the cards say. Right, Deborah Van Winkle. Makes you wonder what they're teaching these students behind the doors, behind closed doors. Well, good point, Robin. Continuing with our conversation here, you say they have a cop and a cult problem. Isn't it kind of one and the same? I mean, look at the Delphi case. The guards are wearing the Odin patches and are part of the problem, in my opinion. I believe, honestly, in the Steve Avery case, that they used Christine Rudy's bones, which is a girl I personally met twice, that was brutally murdered, and exactly the way they said Teresa Halbach was murdered, 2.5 hours apart. And they would never allow anybody to check the evidence of the bones over here. And when they submitted a DNA report, they didn't think they had sleuths that would be able to compare the DNA of both victims. And because of the mother over here with Christina producing a certain enzyme, she has a certain marking that appeared, and it was like, what? This couldn't get any closer if I planned it. There's no way. Talk about quintillion chance. Never. And that crime, if you follow the Christine Rudy case, and then you line up the Steve Avery case, you can see where if you were to say, okay, I'm going to make a calendar of key events in the Steve Avery case, you could then make a calendar of when they found out that she had been killed, when they found the first part of her, when they found her bone, when they found her torso. And you can line it up right with the court settings and as the story changed over here. And it starts meshing. And it's like, holy shit. Nobody believed that crazy story that this corrupt police department, who happened to have the same anthropologist that handles all the bone materials on both cases, same anthropologist that is in charge and has ownership, claiming the only bone evidence of the victim is in the Christine Rudy case, and then also at the same time Teresa Halbach case. So when I look at the system and I say, isn't it all the same? If you really are dealing with white supremacists in the area, they will have clogged the system for anybody that doesn't fit their bills. So it's not just going to be them hidden amongst the public. They will migrate to their own little people area, much like, and no offense, but like Amish. They'll clump together in little areas because they're stronger in numerous. And they're going to get in positions of power. And when they do, they're going to hold that position as long as possible. And they're going to use nepotism to get the next one in. Dreamweaver says we all need to bring out our heavy-duty flashlights. Yep, when cases are this messed up, come on. Common sense says, what? You better believe it's a cover-up for a cult. And what is a cult? A cult, to me, is when you get a group of people that follow a set line of rules, hardcore rules and beliefs that only protect themselves and not anybody else, and can become a danger because of that. But that's just little old Mama D's opinion. Oh, my God. Y'all, I get an F. I've not even been wearing my mic this whole time. All right, we're going to start doing, can you hear me? Do you have a visual? And do I have my headset on? Did any of you tell me I didn't have my headset on? You may not have known. You can hear fine. I am loud. Hi, Deborah Martina. Yes, yes, and yes, says Wildfire. Hey, I will tell you. I will tell you. I think what they did over there in the Avery case. Oh, and by the way, I'm all about the Avery case because Zellner, his post-conviction attorney, has now come out and named who she believes was pushing the RAV4 with Bobby on that fateful night, in the same Halloween night, honestly, of the night that Teresa disappeared. I believe that's how it works. Anyway, it could have been a couple nights later, but it's the victim's RAV4 allegedly, and Bobby Dassey's pushing it or steering it with the door open, no shirt, kind of does something like towards the guy that witnesses this, right? So the guy delivering the mail at 3 a.m. or newspaper at 3 a.m. or whatever, he has to like go almost in the ditch to get around him. And they're like describing this guy in this orange vest. And she really believes it's Mike Osmondson. And what's really weird is if you go back and look at some of my videos, we do research and it's all analytical, no tarot, no guesswork. It's like you got to bring the ticket, you got to bring the receipt. And so they have you seen this guy with sketches around connected to 2 deaths for sure, possibly even 5, of serial killer. And this person allegedly has this tattoo as well. And so they drew the tattoo out and they had the artist sketch rendered and they had this up and we get looking at it and I'm like, looks like Mike Osmondson. And I think he's the mastermind behind the whole thing. And now it's years later. Zellner, if you just would have watched my videos, you'd be way ahead by now. Go watch him now. You can have a ton of fun because I broke down that man's life. I'm telling you. He was so jealous of Stephen. He hated Stephen with a passion. With a passion. Because the love of his life was ended up pulled away from him by Stephen. Stephen even bought her a trailer. Mike despised Stephen. So, I think she's on the right track finally. That's sad. When you're a YouTube sleuth and, you just don't know much. And, what's it been? I said that in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. 5 years. Stephen has sat in prison. And I've read every one of his, filings and all that on that channel. And we're just now getting to the meat and potatoes of who I said along would have pulled this off. Jujubee says, hi there, Mama D, 1111 family. Just watched my Leo reading. Oh my God, made me cry. Bullseye read, 100. Love you, Mama D. Excellent read. Much love to you. Thank you, darling. It flopped. I'm not kidding, y'all. Zodiacs aren't working. It worked for a handful of you, and I'm so grateful. But it has tanked our channel. Like YouTube gave me a warning, literally, that says there's a significant difference in the viewing habits versus your earlier videos. And I'm like, it's something like that. And I'm like, damn. So I'm going to have to keep them members only after this, or YouTube counts against algorithm. And honestly, maybe 100 people watch, maybe. YouTube's like, it don't make sense with the algorithm also because it's not true crime. And I get it. It's a computer. YouTube being lying, Flossie May said. Linda Sue says you just invoked the power of harsh. You can expect him to morph into the roommate anytime. I have no idea what that meant. Jujubee says YouTube has fallen and cracked their heads open. Deborah said that's bullcrap. But I can do them, but I'm just going to do them live and for everybody. And then I'll, because it's not going to get the views, I'm going to do it all at once. I know it's shorter story, but I still want you to get a story. And then I will throw it under members only so I don't have to deal with the algorithm warnings and seeing the red marks as the channel shows me that my last 9 videos, because I released 9 zodiac signs right now. Well, actually only 6 it showed. Oh yeah, because 3 are members and they don't count that against the algorithm. That's why they make the members so that you can do little things that only a few people want to see. Oh, meat and potatoes. I get you. I'm stuck there. You're waiting on the Gemini reading. It's still happening. This week's all done and going to be released as we go. But then next week, I'm going to do it all live for everyone. Members will be able to do the chat. And then after it goes live, it's not going to stay out there, but literally 5 minutes and it'll go into members. That way, people that want that extra, what have you, for me, I'm going to tell y'all, I'll be honest. So I know it's not true crime related, but it's real important. And I'm also here to guide you and inspire you in your life. So I went through the dark night of the soul and I would listen to different tarot readers, a lot of them. And I also did my own readings. But the problem was when I listened to the different tarot readers, I guess it wasn't a problem. Let me correct that. The thing was, I could read tarot so I knew when they were bullshitting. And it pissed me off. And so I got to where the reason I started reading tarot publicly was to make sure the story was shared properly, what the card was saying. And I get so when I want to call somebody out because they are lying. And yeah. So anyway, when I did find, and I still watch them to this day and I have for years, they'll give it to me straight up. They'll be like, okay, it's just me and you talking here. And this is a problem that you know about. And you haven't made any change. You're still sitting on the couch. Why? Okay, they get like that with me. But at the same time, I know damn straight that they're being 100 with me. And that's what I'm looking for is the truth. And that's what I give everybody that sees my readings. I'll call you out because I want to be called out. I want to be told the truth. And I don't want any sugar coating. I don't want no donut cookies. You know, I don't want the sweet stuff always. Only when it's really there. Right, Deborah Van Winkle. That's amen. That's why we continue tuning in. Yeah. And I'm telling y'all, when it comes to the Avery case, we had corruption that went up to the Attorney General. How do we know that we don't have that already going on in Idaho and Indiana? Your artist smelling a rat over there with Indiana. Judges calling out judges. Oh, yeah. See, things are starting to change. People are starting to get into office and into positions. And they're like, wait a minute. The public is going to catch on. And I don't want to be caught in that loop. So I'm going to call it out the way I see it to protect myself. Right? So the more true crime sleuths, right, me and you, put that pressure on that we're watching you. And then we got our magnifying glass and we will look and see if that key has been used by the victim or if it's been brand new cut and remade. I mean, in that case, you guys, think about this. They couldn't get in the car at all at the crime scene because they did not have the key. The key was the pivotal point of the case. No, we can't get in it. We've got to put crime tape on the whole damn thing. We're going to cloak it to keep it out of the rain and nobody can see it. It gets to the crime lab and the first guy on site that's doing the ensuite pictures finds the door unlocked on the driver's side. And that's why we have a big problem in that case. Because it was tampered with, period. The second that door lock tumbled, I don't give a shit the reason. It's tampered. And the whole vehicle should have been thrown out of court. Because at this point, now, a million ways could have been how what got in that car and where it's been and who all did what, whatever. Game over. That piece of evidence is no longer viable. It didn't even make it to the crime lab before somebody broke in it. And yet, that is the evidence that sent the man to prison. And that's why I say he had inactive, ineffectual bullshit counsel that damn sure worked for the attorney general that was fighting Stephen Avery in the beginning. Oh yeah, it was face-to-face argument with Stephen Avery and the attorney general. I don't even know if you guys know what I'm talking about at this point. So, corruption. I've seen it go from the attorney general down. And in the Stephen Avery case, not only the attorney general for the state of Wisconsin, Janet Reno was the attorney general. She went down there and talked to Peg Lautenschlager, the attorney general for Wisconsin, and it got put in our local newspaper. And I read the clip about how you cannot just assume someone's guilty and manufacture a narrative, that you need to go back to school and learn to do a proper investigation. Slap on the wrist by Janet Reno herself. 12 hours, closed doors. And you're telling me that after the United States Attorney General had to come to your office and slap your damn hand because you've messed up the state of Wisconsin, and you've got this guy that's being wrongfully convicted twice now, that you have to be told to do a proper investigation? And you are the head of the pack? And if you're the head of the pack and you set the example that the next attorney general is your son, nepotism. Don't even get me in my rubber ducky days, because and I want to come out and say it. So in that case, I got really deep into the research. Like, I'm a research hound. If I decide to go with research and that's a route I take, I will get to the bottom of it. I assure you. You will know when people turned over in their bed. What time exact. I get down to the nitty gritty. I strip it. Anyway, when I started stripping back the layers, and I could clearly see Mike Oddsman, I can't even say his name, Mike O, as a person I felt was grooming Bobby Dassey. And then the viewers were like, RD, Rubber, have you seen this little artist sketch? I'm like, well, I've seen him around. I never looked at him. They're like, look at him again. Sure as shit. Mike and Bobby have the same damn tattoos as the pictures. So we did all kinds of videos. All kinds. It's just now coming out. So that's why I get frustrated with true crime, is because we are not going to win most of the battles. We're not. But we're going to keep pushing till so many people are so uncomfortable with making an immoral decision, the wrong decision, to cover up because they're scared. They're scared that the sleuths online are going to find out and blow it up. That's what we're going to have to do to keep them on the straight and narrow over here. That maybe we change the system to where pretty soon people are like, it's so not worth fucking up. Right. Where's our goat? Flossie May says we're going to scream from the rooftops till we are heard 100. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Jujubee says trust went out the car door. Minute it was open, no trust from there forward. Set the tone. People know common sense is not present, which eliminates them right off ignorant. We should be PIs. Flossie May says from the top to the bottom and back again, shaking my head. I hate how dirty our justice system and government has become. Y'all. Okay, so this made me think of this. Flossie May says, that's how I feel about Idaho case with 9 hours before 911 being called. And I began to think about Hannah Clear for 3 days. Nobody reported her. And she lived in a little apartment. Did they just not know? But could that have something to do with why the 11th hour, kind of waiting till the 11th hour, which even if you look at it as after 11 a.m., the 11th hour, or if you look at it in the Googled way, where it's the last minute possible, the 11th hour makes you wonder. Zach Woolsey said, sorry I left, but I'm back. I live in Indiana. I think they gave the wrong people power in both states and in other states too. I do too. Hot Mess Equinese says, Mama D, you were very brave for calling it out. Thank you. I have to call it out. I have no choice. God protects me. God fights my battles for me. Nothing evil, wicked, or negative can prosper or manifest against me because I am the truth. I walk the truth. I live the truth. And therefore, I am fully protected and chosen to be brave. And I'm just doing it because the truth is, we have some very powerful groups that if they decide somebody did something bad, they make it happen. But what can stop them is all the eyes. Your eyes, my eyes, right? Private eyes, we're watching you. I can't sing. I don't care. My online boyfriend that doesn't know he's my boyfriend, Chris from Minnow Pond, right? He says you're supposed to embarrass yourself every day. So I try. I think I do a good job. Hello, Karen Guy. Hi, beautiful 1111 family and Mama D. Love and light wildfire. Be safe. Get your daughter. Dreamweaver's like, you go, girl. You're funny. Boom. I love circus crime. Drip drop. Hats off to you, man. You're cool. I know you fear. I know real. It's real, but just know we got your back. The good fight, when you can't help yourself to dig deeper and deeper and get to the bottom of the truth and you start learning this shit, keep making your videos, because with you being out there, it's protecting you. It protects you as well as your loved ones. But be on the lookout. You guys, they pull sneaky shit. They do. Really scary. And they mess with you. Now, I haven't been messed with in years, because now I'm a tarot reader. Nobody's going to pay attention to a tarot reader. Just saying. Oh. Mama D sent an email, that very thing bothering me a week before you read on timeline. Read 100% confirmed. Not sure if you're aware. Juju Lovely, I know y'all want to share your deep problems and things of how it's the reads confirm and affirm and all that. And I so appreciate that you guys are gaining the benefit. But honestly, I don't take on the energy. I just can't. And that's why I put it out there and I leave it. I just leave it because my heart goes out to those that are struggling. But I can't keep reading struggling emails, even if they're like, and in the end, I survived. But when I see a post or an email, and I'm being honest as I can be, that it's full of strife and I can see it, and it took a hell of a lot of battle. If I get into the story, I will sink into that vibration and feel that heavy weight. And I cannot just shake it off when I close the email. So I'll carry it all day long. So I don't thoroughly read them. I skim to the very bottom where it talks about love and light and how it worked and everything's great. And then I tell you I love you, because I do. But I don't want to hear about a whole bunch of negative shit that didn't work for 12 years. And now it's starting to make sense and work out, because I'll be honest, that's me too. That's you. That's him and her and all of us. There is not one person here that has their shit together. There's not one person in YouTube land that has their shit together. No one has their shit together. That's how true. And so, as much as I love you guys, I prefer you to email me when you're sharing something good vibe, right? Because otherwise, it's just me eating breakfast reading something that I wish I could change, and my heart breaks. And then my kids are like, Mom, you were so chatty before. What happened? I'm like, nothing. You feel me? And it's not because I don't care. I do care. I don't know if that made any sense. I'm just keeping it real. Thank you. That is beautiful. Hot mess, Equines. We're going to end with this because it's about 18 minutes and we go live and I have to get all set up. She says, still growing, but your confidence and power inspires at Mama D. So this is what she's saying that you could repeat too. I am the most powerful entity in my reality. I am the most powerful entity in my reality. I am the most powerful entity in my reality. Yes. Amen. You are. And keep in mind, we are creating our reality. So and that's my true belief, everything in my life, every single thing in my life, I have created. So let me ask you this before I go. All right? I'm going to inspire you with a challenge. Something to think about on your own time. What if in 90 days, your future self, what if you locked into something, or more than one thing, but somehow you make a change to improve yourself and you do it for 90 days, so that 90 days from now, you can be like, oh, so that's how it works if I do this. Because that self-improvement, I'm going to do this for 90 days. If it doesn't work after 90 days, I'm done. If I love it, I'll keep going. But regardless of how I feel for 90 days, I'm going to do this for the best interest to see if my future self is going to benefit. And sometimes you're like, I tried it for 90 days and I loved it, but it was horrible for me. Like I got a stomach ache that never went away. I'm never doing it again. I don't know. I'm just saying, challenge yourself to change your world, no matter what it is. If your wrist hurts because of whatever, try just moving your fingers. You get it, the analogy. All right. So, you guys, we're about to jump over to Hudson Lindow's reading. This is an intuitive tarot reading. It is Truth Train coming through. Sassy show on the train. So true. Yeah. Truth Train coming through. Give it its moment, right? Yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to find here. I don't even know what all I said, you know. I just talk. I just speak. I open up with my heart and I let it come out. So, with that, I want to get this figured out a little bit. I want to get some closure somehow. Or I want to dig deeper if it needs to be really opened up. But how did this, and I'm going to say child because 19, and he drowned in a ditch of water that looks like a puddle? What? How can that be? How is that possible? I love you. I will see you again in 16 minutes, my lovelies. Love you to the moon and back. Thank you, my starlights.